Hi everyone, Noreen here from Cruising with the Ryans, our favorite YouTube channel, and we hope it's yours too. We are delighted today to have Brian with us. He's the cruise director extraordinaire on Ovation of the Seas. And today we're seated so that you can see the view in the Gulf of Alaska. We are on our way back to Vancouver from several weeks back and forth in the interior passage, and Brian has so nicely agreed to give us a little bit of his time today so we can ask him a whole bunch of questions.
It's obviously great to be here with you, and so great to see you both again. It's always a pleasure to have you sailing with us, and I'm happy to be here with you. Thank you for having me.
We're happy about that too. So let's just get down to some nitty gritty stuff.
Ooh, okay.
We want to know all about Brian. How did you happen to get into this cruise life that you are currently in?
Yeah, so, it's kind of funny. I didn't know anything about the cruise industry whatsoever. I grew up in theater, broadcast journalism, and I knew that I wanted to do something along those lines. The dream was always to host on TV, to, possibly do Broadway. And although I've done a little bit of that, I haven't been on Broadway, but I've dabbled in television. I knew as soon as I graduated from college that I needed an occupation that would allow me to pay off my student loans, but also allow me to pursue my dreams, because I'm not a desk person, 9 to 5 or anything. No offense, of course, to anyone that is. That's just not me. And I was kind of like searching online, and the cruise industry just popped up, and without knowing anything about it, I applied to be a cruise staff to all the cruise lines that are out there and were available at the time. And there's only one of them that called me back. And so I took a chance, and I went in 2009. I think it was October of 2009. I had just graduated college, and started out as cruise staff, worked my way up to assistant cruise director, eventually cruise director. Was with that particular company for about 8.5 years. Took a 2-year break to move and work in Vegas, and I've been so blessed to be with Royal Caribbean now ever since 2019. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
So was travel on your list of things that you wanted to do a lot of? And did that help you make that decision?
That's a great question. I was really blessed growing up. Regarding my parents and my family, we had traveled almost every summer for vacation, mainly, staying within the United States, visiting various family members, grandparents in Las Vegas, before I had moved there, of course. But no, I don't know that I specifically wanted to land a job or an occupation that would specifically allow me to travel. It just kind of happened. I think I was more focused on the requirements and the obligations of the specific job in the cruise industry. And I was like, hey, that sounds like something that's up my alley. Sounds like fun, and I get to travel as a bonus. Right. Let's do it.
That's cool. Well, going back to where you grew up, where did you grow up? We know you live in Vegas now, which one of my favorite places.
Many.
But now that I cruise so often, I don't get there as often as I'd like to. But where did you grow up? And tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, sure. So I'm very proud, and I still call it home. I grew up in the northwest suburbs of Chicago, Illinois, and I went to Wheeling High School. And, growing up there is very much who I am, and a part of me. Even though I live in Las Vegas, I don't really refer to Las Vegas as being home. Chicago will always be home, but I come from a very large law enforcement family. My dad was a commander in Niles. My brother was a lieutenant in Park Ridge. I have another brother that just retired as a Chicago detective. 2 cousins that are police officers, one in Elgin, one in Glenview. And then my one cousin's dad, my uncle, was also a Glenview police officer turned state's attorney. And I actually went to EMT school at Northwest Community Hospital, worked for a private paramedic company, did my ride along with the Niles Fire Department where my dad worked. But the law enforcement is such a big part of my life as well too, and have the utmost respect for our first responders.
Oh yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
I come from that family background as well.
Absolutely.
And I was curious when you were talking about all these relatives that were in that sort of line of work. Was there any pressure on you to do any of those things? Like, your brothers were doing it, your father was doing it. Come on, Brian.
Yeah.
Don't you want to go to, blah, blah, blah school to learn how to be this or that?
So I was kind of the black...
Did that help you go into the paramedic side of it? Or
No, there was no pressure, there was no influence whatsoever. And I have to say, I have the most supportive and loving parents and family. They've always backed me, no matter my interests and aspirations. I've always been involved in theater. I've been in plays and musicals since I was probably 3 years old.
Wow.
Have done that all my life. So I knew deep down I always wanted to do something in arts and entertainment. However, I'm a Leo. My birthday is August 5th. And I have to dabble. I can't just settle for one thing. Life is short. I have a lot of aspirations, dreams, passions. And so I think the whole EMT aspect came from my love for adrenaline being an adrenaline junkie, I suppose.
Yeah.
I love taking risks and going on it in adventures. But I knew I never really wanted to do like the law enforcement side. I was always fascinated with medicine.
The medical side.
And so while I was actually at Harper College in Palatine, I was getting my associate's degree. I did my EMT certification there as well. Did it for 4 years, and I have no regrets in life. But one of my regrets, I think one of my one and only regrets, is that at the time I was forced to take the National Registry. There's the state test and there's the National Registry. And 2 Chicago firefighters had actually stolen the state test. So we were forced to take the National Registry because they were rewriting the state test. And I just wish that I had kept up with the continuing education to keep that. However, I went away to get, continue on with my four-year degree. And I just couldn't keep up with, schooling and the continuing education. It was a lot.
That's a lot. It really is.
It was a lot.
Really is. Well, that's really interesting. When you talk about the theater, we have sailed with you several times now, and we have observed a lot of talent from you.
Oh, thank you.
You have a lovely singing voice.
Thank you so much.
And just watching, especially last night. Last night we went to see Spectra's Cabaret, and when you popped up at the end of the show, you were an amazing showman.
Oh, thank you.
And so I think you have really found a niche for yourself, because I can tell by the way you behave that you love what you do. And my dad always told me that you will do very, very well if you love your job.
I appreciate you saying that, and that means the world. I've always prided myself on what you see on stage is what you get off stage. It's not an act for me. I very much pride myself on that. But I've been so blessed to work for Royal Caribbean, and they've been so kind to me, and they've allowed me to essentially follow my dreams, my passion for making everyone laugh and smile, and
of course,
be entertained throughout their cruise. And and I agree. Your dad sounds like a very smart man. I've always lived by that theory that, you know, and I hate to sound cliche, if you love what you do, you never work a day in your life.
That's true.
And I've always
Very
felt
true.
that way,
Yeah.
truly.
So tell us a little bit about some of the theater that you performed in when you were, did you do that in addition to studying it in school? Like when you were in high school?
Sure.
Were you in the senior plays and all of that? What kind of entertainment were you involved
Absolutely.
in?
Yeah, so I was that kid that was, you know, putting on and pretending that I was on a radio station at home. My dad would hardwire speakers around the house from our old stereo cabinet. And we found a way to plug the computer into that. And I had a really good friend. He still is a good friend of mine, but he was a disc jockey at the time. It was the oldies 104.3 format, WJMK in Chicago. I was in middle school, and every Saturday they would put on the Saturday Night All Request. And I'll never forget, you know, calling in and trying to get through, and it would be so busy, but then you would just keep trying, and then, you know, the phone would ring, and I remember getting so nervous, like, oh my gosh, they're going to answer. And Ken Cocker is his name. He answered, and just through conversation, we found out that we had gone to the same junior high together, which is MacArthur Middle School in Prospect Heights. And once we found that out, we just became instant friends. He gave me the direct line to the studio. He said, call every Saturday, and I did. He put me on the air, and I still have the cassette tapes from recording it on the radio. So I was always involved in radio and in broadcasting. I had a stage in my basement. I made my dad hang curtains, and for Christmas I wanted stage lights. So Santa was very kind, and I got them. But
oh, how cool!
We were the house. We were putting on plays. The neighbors were always coming over. We had old video cameras, and we were plugging it into the TV and putting on news broadcast. So that my interest in that peaked from a very early age. When I was in junior high and grade school, it was plays, musicals every single year.
Yeah.
And my love for that continued on to community theater at Harper College. And then also to college as well. I went to school, Columbia College, for acting and got my bachelor's degree in that. So
that's awesome.
Big part of my life.
So would we recognize any of the plays that you were in as you were doing all this growing into the life of Brian that is now?
Yeah, I think so. So in 8th grade, I played Daddy Warbucks and Annie.
Oh, wow.
And that's actually what's prompted me to shave my head again. I hadn't shaved it since 8th grade, and it was 124 degrees in Las Vegas. And I'm like, you know, there's no better opportunity than to do it now, and to be able to save on all those hair products and styling. So I've kind of kept it ever since. I was in Guys and Dolls, actually, a few times.
Wow.
What else have I done? Annie, Get Your Gun. I played Frank Butler in high school. Joseph in the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. And then after college, my love kind of took a turn to hosting and film and TV. I've hosted on television. I've done a lot of conventions in Las Vegas, voiceover work for radio stations and TV commercials. So yeah, anything I can get my hands on, I love to do so.
That sounds like a lot of fun and a good preparation for what you do now.
Absolutely.
So you're still fairly young. I don't care to know how old you are, nor does anyone else.
Oh, thank
but
you.
you know, I wonder, do you have any plans for things you would like to do going forward in the future? You know, I'm sure you are not planning on going anywhere in the near future, but you know, if an opportunity arose, or if a different situation with this company arose, or whatever, what would you feel like you might want to do? Absolutely.
I'm always open to opportunities, and kind of going back to my dream of hosting on TV, I made that happen. I thought maybe going through like the news anchor route would help, I don't know, maybe get me to Access Hollywood or Entertainment Today, something along those lines. And for the salary, which I knew what I was getting myself into, I was too afraid to just take the leap and do it. So that's always in the back of my mind. I still would love to get into TV in some capacity, whether it be acting or hosting, maybe radio as well too, full time. Not many people know this about me, but I've also had my pilot's license, my certificate now for over 2.5, almost 3 years. So I do keep that in the back of my mind, maybe going the commercial, corporate, private, route for a business or corporation.
What kind of planes do you fly?
So I trained in Cessna 172s, just about every single model of them at my flight school. But just recently, I've been flying a Piper Cherokee 180 for the past 3 years now. And actually, speaking of opportunities opening, the plane was for sale. And so 3 other friends of mine that are also pilots, we went in and bought it.
Bought it as a group?
As a group, yeah.
So that's fun. So now you have your own plane.
Yes, and we took over the business and the flying club as well too. That was associated with it.
And is that based in Las Vegas?
It is. It's actually based at Boulder City Airport, just about 20 minutes outside of the city.
Right.
So
yes, it's not at McCarran.
No, gosh, no. You won't see too many private general aviation planes there.
No, for sure.
I don't think the pilots and the big 737s will appreciate landing behind us.
For sure. So, is there anything you would like to tell people who are going to watch this wonderful video on YouTube about yourself that I haven't asked?
Oh gosh, that's such a great question. I'm a very transparent individual. Like I said, I pride myself on that. It's always so wonderful to have familiar faces that cruise, and especially from the Midwest. Right. Although I wish you brought Portillo's or Illuminati's on board, because I miss that so much. My family's still being back in Chicago. I don't get home as often as I'd like, but I'm very much an open book, and I love sharing every aspect of who I am and my love for what I do, work-wise or, passion-wise. So no secrets with me, to be honest.
No, I wasn't thinking so much about secrets, but like when you don't work on the cruise ship because you have vacation that you take, what do you do?
Lately, these days, it's been
Fly?
Yeah, it's been flying. I am working on my next rating, which is instrument rating, and at the very least, even if I don't go commercial, I want to at least have my instrument rating and multi-engine so that I can fly jets.
Yeah.
I also have 17 hours of helicopter under my my belt as well too. Not by choice, that kind of just happened. At the time, the gentleman that was managing the plane that we now co-own, he's a helicopter instructor. And so he took me up, and I was having too much fun that we just kind of continued the lessons. But no, I just recently bought my very first house. And so,
great.
Yeah, thank you. 2 years ago, time flies, but lately my vacations have been doing work around the house.
Yeah, because you don't get to spend all that much time there.
No, I don't, but I've gotten it to where I want it to be, and I'm in a good place. I just finished the backyard. I had a clean slate when I moved in. So I downloaded a landscape program that I didn't even know of and know how to use, and learned how to use it, and designed my backyard. And then I had different companies come out and provide quotes, and I went with it, and
that's great.
Turned out better than I could have even imagined.
Yes,
so
yes.
I can't wait to get back home and just enjoy the backyard. Although it's so hot in Las Vegas now, I don't know how often I'm going to be sitting out there now.
Probably not. Did you provide some shade for yourself when you designed this backyard?
Great question, and yes, you have to. I designed a beautiful pergola overlooking kind of like my seating area, and then kind of in an open area, I've got a fire pit, custom light poles, and like string lights that are kind of crisscrossed across
nice,
it. So if anyone is interested in looking, it's on my Instagram as well too. So Cruise Director Brian, of course.
Cruise Director Brian on Instagram. There you go. Well, I have one last request.
Please, of course.
The last request I have, other than to say thank you so much for everything you've done here for us, is to ask you to please tell our viewers that if they don't already subscribe to Cruising with the Ryans,
Yes.
that they should.
Absolutely. So I've known Dennis and Noreen for years, and as I mentioned, it is always such a pleasure to have them on board, especially because of our Chicago heritage
Yes,
and
yes.
everything that goes along with that. But if you have not done so already, hit that subscribe button, follow, like, and cruise with the Ryans, and continue to watch, because you cruise a lot as Pinnacle
We
guys.
do, yes.
You've got a lot of ports and ships under your belt and your experience, so definitely continue to follow their journey.
We're probably homeless than you are.
Probably,
Yeah.
yes,
We're at sea all the
absolutely.
time.
That's
Yeah.
for
We
sure.
go home for a week or two, and
And
off
that's the
again.
end of it.
Yep, yeah.
Well, thank you so much,
Oh,
Brian.
thank you
We
for
really
having me.
appreciate your time today. You
Of
have a
course.
very hectic schedule. You're jumping on stage and running around and hosting things and Price is Right
Yes,
and
yes.
all these different things that go on the cruise ships. So we really appreciate the time you spent with us here today.
It's
And
my pleasure, and
thank
I
you again.
wouldn't have it any other way. Thank you so much for having me.
thank you. Hi, Dr. Dennis here. I want to first of all thank our good friend Brian Levitt for the wonderful interview that he did with Noreen today. And I want you to also remember, have great vacations and smooth sailing.
You.